Alright. Let me see if I can get ECR sorted. Put the video in the live stream. We have gone live, right? Yeah. Finally showed up. Alright. There's only 10 people in the lobby at the moment. How's everyone doing? So, Miami, starting in about, well, in a few minutes' time. Just filling out, just messaging someone a minute. Right, how's everyone doing? 29 laps plus a short quali round Miami. Oh, someone else is joining, so we actually might have a little bit more than 10. So I got 3 joining mid-quali, so we should be near 15, I think, for racing, so this should be good relatively interesting, and I don't think it's going to be quite as chaotic. We've certainly had races in the past that have been just straight up as chaotic as possible. But a few people sorting things out. I'm interested to see who's going to actually be able to do anything here. $11 people around Miami. It shouldn't be as chaotic as it has been prior, but oh my god. Miami's not the best track when it comes to keeping people on said track, so it certainly could head in a completely different direction. We're still waiting for a couple of people by the looks of it. don't think we should be waiting all that much longer to get going. Oh, another person joined. I was about to say that being Captain Badass, but I would get slaughtered for saying it like that. I'm almost certain of it. But really shouldn't be going for too. But yeah, Miami. We've had a few interesting races so far. We had the domination by Mercedes last time. Well, in Australia, the last time out. Canada was all over the place from start to finish, and it looked like we're about to start here. But yeah, Canada just had people dying left, right, and centre, and then whoever wasn't dying was getting penalties. So we definitely had a mixture of pretty much everybody, or everything. Sorry. It's just let's see which kind of crazy we're gonna get this time round. But yeah, we're about to head into qualifying now with 12 people. Right. Who's going to set the fastest time here? Oh, okay, Rain qualifying. Well then. Here we go. Rain in qualifying. That's 6 seconds apparently for people to load in. I'm not entirely sure why. It's giving us another timer for this. Everything's sorted up. Alright, so telemetry on, lap on. Hello. Why is it? Rain produces the best kind of driving. What do you mean? It's a commentator's favourite thing, this. I mean, you guys are going to have fun trying to drive this, but you see, that doesn't involve me, so I get to watch the utter chaos. How is Clueless driving in the garage? Ah, there it is. Never mind. I was wondering why that first gear was showing up. Can I assume that the rain isn't going to drop off then if people are doing laps now? Someone else is coming out of the pit. Said a Haas and a Ferrari, so that's Joshy and going to assume Dylan. I'll wait and see. Yep, it is Dylan. So that's the first 3 people on, and well, if you haven't watched a stream that I do when it comes to comms, we always watch the first person, they'll watch their out lap, and they'll watch their flying lap, unless they invalidate, and they'll switch to the guy directly behind them. Which, there's 3 people who decided that the best course of action would be to come out immediately behind each other. Which is interesting. I'm not entirely sure that's how you're meant to do qualifying, but each to their own. Hopefully everyone... I hope everyone understands the concept of space. Coming up, we go through the final straight down to the last couple of corners before Clueless here gets to start his actual lap. A hairpin in Miami. Clueless is lagging all over the place. Here we go. Starting his lap. We've got 8th all the way down to 3rd, even into 2nd as he goes through turn 1, and a little bit of a slide. He's up through 3rd gear, now into 4th gear. Car stays relatively stable through turn 3. keeps it going down into the end of, well, end of the first sector. Here is another section of S's. So we go through the first sector now, end of it. It's still lagging all over the place. Drops a second up to third. He goes extremely wide through the end of the first sector here. Clueless. I think that particular first sector might be beaten rather quickly. I don't think that was particularly impressive. We've got a few things that could be improved there, I think. As he is going to go through the middle of the second sector now into the twisty part of Miami. The uphill followed by the blind chicane and then down towards the straight. He does it. He keeps the car intact. Still in first gear. He was in first gear going through the corner there, which is, let's just say, a very, very brave decision. Given the fact that, well, in the wet, anything less than third gear probably sends you spinning. Now into the hairpin. Third corner from last. You've got a quick right left up to the line. The car almost loses the back end there. 36.7. We'll watch Joshy go over the line now. He currently is in a 32, 33, a little bit wide. 34, 35. It's a little bit deep there as well. But it's 36.75. 9, and there you go, that's more realistic. Undertaker Dylan with a 35.9. I think Harder's the next one over the line. Harder, by the looks of it, on a lap. He's going to come around the third to final corner. And a little bit of a slide on the back of the car. Another one there as he had a pretty unstable rear of the car there. He's puts himself in second for the moment in time, though. It looks like Captain Badass has just done a 36.6, which is enough for fourth until, enough for fourth as Volcano Master goes on a 34.6. That's enough for a provisional pole by a country mile. Arda's out! Arda's out! Okay, so that's one of the heavy hitters in this lobby currently out of the session. Arda making a horrible mistake at the end of the first sector there, and currently purple for Reed going through the first sector. Rayan did a 36.1. No one anywhere near Volcano Master right now. And Mercedes is flying. Looks like the other Mercedes invalidated his first lap, so has to go again. We continue to watch Reed go through his lap. I'm pretty sure it's Jedler. No, Jedler's a little bit further back, so we'll switch to Jedler after Reed's lap then to see where that goes. The other one is just Dylan coming toward the end of his lap now. Reed 108.7 through the second sector as he heads down the very, very long back straight Miami. And into the hairpin. Looking to realistically try and challenge Volcano. First gear and puts the throttle down. Still gets a nice little exit there. And 32, 33, 34, 35, 35.3. So we are bridging the gap. Reed pretty much directly in between Volcano and Dylan in terms of time as well. Let's have a look at what Jedler's doing as he's sliding everywhere through the corner. He's doing a 35.5, enough to put him third. Mercedes is not having a particularly fun time. As it looks like Polly's here probably going to go on a lap now. Looks like he's trying to go on a lap now. Nonetheless, he's going to go through the first sector, and he's still in fourth gear going through turn 3 and 4, which is, well, 2 and 3, sorry, which is relatively interesting, and improving 6/10. Well, that would have put you a decent way, like, closer to people like Jedler and Reed, but yeah, that's a bad mistake to make then. As Polly, 3.5 seconds up on his other time, so currently looking that he's staying in the 40s. Needs to be in the mid-30s at the very least to even stand a chance. I would 6/10 first sector. Yeah, I know. You still would have needed a lot of time. Harder. You would have needed a lot of time to be towards Volcano. Bearing in mind, he's beaten you by, what, 3 times the amount you actually gaining. 12 seconds up at the moment. Into the 37s. It looked like someone's just done a quicker lap there. I think that was Badass doing a 35.9. It was. He moves himself up to 5th. And Paulie going around the final 3 corners now, seeing where he can put himself. 33, 34, 35.1. Enough a second, and maybe, just maybe, we might be watching yet another Mercedes dominance. That's cutting the pit lane line. It might be another Mercedes dominance today. We've seen that people have been able to put a challenge to it, and also 35.3 for Martin's enough for 5th, and everyone seems to be stuck around the 35 low range. Got a good battle for everyone that isn't named Volcano Master at the moment. IV over here is going through the second sector now. What makes you say that, Frights? There we go. Down through the second sector now. The AlphaTauri has to get out of the way. IV going all the way down the back straight now. And, well, let's see if he's able to stand up to everyone else. He goes through the third to last, into the second to last. Jedler, 33.2. You can definitely tell the track's drying up now then. There's 33.7 there for IV. He's put himself second place right now. Is Dylan on a lap? Dylan's got no front wing, so even if he was, it doesn't really mean anything. The Haas is also... Oh no, the Haas are just letting people through, by the looks of it. Not causing a yellow flag by a spin or anything. It looks like Reed just had an awful chicane there. And DRS is actually being enabled now, so... We've got a chance for people to actually better their times by quite the distance here. 32.3 there for Volcano, who once again about 9/10 of a second up, and assume that people are going to beat this left, right and centre though for the rest of quali, considering this track all but looks dry now. And people have decided that the soft tyres is the optimal tyre to be on now. So Reed looks to absolutely destroy the current best lap. As he goes through the first sector, it looked like he had a lot of control in that car, despite the track being probably a little damp still. He is 2.5 seconds quicker, so into what, the 32s at the moment for Reed? I would assume this is the point in time, this second sector, where you gain most of the time on everyone else. Reed going into the chicane now, the uphill chicane. He keeps the car going and doesn't invalidate it either as he goes through into the final sector, going at DRS up nearly 5 seconds. So we are certainly going to be into the 20s at the very least. 29.1 there for Ryan as he hits the front of the grid with 6 minutes left of the session. Everyone will get to do a soft lap, that's for sure. And the wet laps everyone was doing earlier were just in vain, realistically. And that's a 29th lap. He's only just beaten Rain, actually, Reed. It's not as impressive of a lap as I thought it was going to be, but it is a lap he... Oh, well, that should be invalid. I have no clue how that's not invalid, considering he just straight up cut the corner. Should be into the 30s, maybe a little bit quicker than that for Clueless here as well. You see Joshy directly behind Clueless. We'll see both of these two put up a time. They were the first two to put times up in qualifying, but we'll get to see them put up proper times though. Clueless 29.3, so not actually bad. 29.9 for Joshy. So people seemingly stuck in the 29s right now. Oh, Polly's out. Polly's out. Oh, it looks like he's had an incident in turn 2. Maybe just before turn 2. Should have had a look at Jedler's thing because he's not going to be able. We're not going to be able to see that now. Oh, Lord of the Horses. Oh no, it's just Joshy letting people through. Okay, but Polly's still there. IV going out for an outlap here, and a couple of people probably going back into the pits for one more. As we see people warm up their tyres on their outlap so far. Actually going to give Martin some more time, as Martin's actually on a lap right now. We'll come back to IV eventually. And now that everyone's on the soft, we get a real indication of what it's going to be for the race pace. Who's actually going to stand a chance? Volcano still has to go out as well, so Martin 2.5 seconds up. Oh, okay. It's ever so slightly quicker than Reed, but Badass has put himself on provisional pole, and Clueless 28.7. Man, well, he must have fueled for multiple laps. He just absolutely driving that car to basically its entire extent at that point. 28.7 is a 3/10 advantage at the moment. See if anyone can take away that 3/10 advantage. It's about, well, Martin's just shy of 5 seconds up on his prior time. Looking at a 29 here, I think, for Martin. As we go down the long straight into the final corner here. In the final corners. Got 2 more. Volcano's out for his lap now as well. And Martin does a 29.4. So I was indeed right by saying that that was in fact what he was going to do. Dylan over the line does a 28.1. Okay, so that's 6/10, sorry. 6/10 and some change. Quicker than Clueless, so I guess that's very good news for Dylan. I don't think people have much time. Oh, and there goes IV, 27.5, another 6/10. Separates first and second, and then second and third. Captain Badass is either going in for going into the pit stops, or is charging up for one more. I'm not entirely sure which. So he's staying out, so he's going for one more regardless. Rain invalidated his lap. Reed's on an in lap. So we've got a few people still realistically going at the moment. We're actually going to watch Volcano Master, as he's been looking towards pole position here. He was in pole, well, it would have been in pole if we stayed in the wet. However, if we stay in the dry, what is it going to be? He goes through the first couple of corners in 4th gear. He stays. People electing to stay in that 4th gear through those 2 corners. I think you can get 3rd and get a better exit that way, but I guess if people are confident doing it in a certain way, there's no real point in stopping them. They come toward the end of the first exit, and Volcano spins it! Oh, he could have had a chance of pole, but he absolutely bottled it. Let's see what Reed does. He's got a couple of seconds to gain. IB the one to chase down now. It doesn't look like an awful lot was going for Reed there. As Williams coming for an outlap, but he is nowhere near getting to the end of that. We've got Captain Badass here, who actually decides to go into the pits. probably could have got an extra position out of that, but decided not to. Jedler over the line. Is he going to be able to do anything now? Nope, he is not. Jax Gaming is got to get a move on. He's going to get the lap in, but how well can he make the lap? That's the real question. Volcano invalidated. Rayan's out. What's happened to Joshi behind? Joshi invalidated behind that Undertaker Dylan. It is. He's currently quicker. He is currently quicker as he heads towards what will be the end of his qualifying session. But is he quick enough to realistically challenge IB here? IB, clueless. Captain Badass has qualified, all done. Same with Joshi. Dylan over the line, 27, 28. Is quicker, but not quick enough. Reed coming toward the line now. He is a second and a half quicker, so he has saved up the chance to go. He's put a 27.6, which isn't enough. Martin's not quicker than his current time. And he didn't finish quicker than his current time. So, we've got a couple of guys with basically on their final shots. Jed the Volcano Master, Jax as well. Actually going to watch Jax over the line. Don't think there's much of a challenge coming from him. 27.6 is actually enough for third. He did almost put up a really good shot with Reed there, finishing 8 thousandths slower. And now here comes the big question. Is it IV or is it Volcano? Down the long back straight he goes. Into the final hairpin and then 2 more to go after that. Are we going to see an all-time lap here from Volcano, or is it going to be IV that puts himself on top of the tree at the end of qualifying? It's Volcano! Volcano's done it! Volcano's taken pole right at the end. I'm not entirely sure whether that was in doubt. 3, nearly 4 tenths splitting the two. IB put up a great fight. 27-1 for Volcano, 27-5 for IB. Reed and Jax literally separated by 8 1,000ths of a second. Jedler further 4 tenths back, not that far separated by his teammate in Dylan. Ray an entire second back. Paul and Arda at the back both set their time on intermediate tyres, which was probably the early signs of their qualifying being really, really poor. Clueless did have provisional pole for a while, but 1.6 seconds separates him and the eventual pole sitter. And but yeah, now we head into the race. Sorry, as you can hear a ice cream van pull up outside my house, apparently. Take a drink while we wait for everyone to load in before we go racing. Oh, that is a lot of rain. That is a lot of rain. But yeah, that is gonna shake things up all over again, I think. Do we have formation lap on? We do have formation lap on, even though the green lights aren't going to come on the actual... that's heavy, heavy, heavy rain. Yeah, that's full wets for everyone. Unsurprisingly, full wets for everyone. But we're going to watch the formation lap go along now with the full wets. Is going to cause a lot of chaos, I think. We've got 13 people currently in the lobby to do well if top 10 finishes here. I'm giving it, what, a lap before the first safety car. I think I'm being generous in the very, very wet conditions. But yeah. Oh, Volcano having a little bit of a nightmare and knocking over the bollard in the chicane there, and it looks like everyone's going to have a tougher time. Oh, that Red Bull. That Red Bull, Reed almost sliding into a wall on the formation lap. So even the best of guys, by the looks of it here, are going to have the biggest challenges getting the car to actually function in the way they actually want them to. But, oh, look at the 360 there by the current pole sitter, Volcano Master. Just 360ing repeatedly into his grid spot. Thank God ghosting's on for formation lap, because people would be dying left, right and centre. Oh, Reed just jumped his grid box. We saw that one. Looks like Jack's had a pretty big problem there in his formation lap. It looks like everyone is set up. Almost everyone is set up. Here we go. I'm not going to get a good look at this because the scoreboards keep spinning it. And now there he goes, 5 red lights. It's lights out, away we go. Apparently not. Everyone's jump started. Never mind, on my screen we went about 5 minutes ago. And Volcano Master's got pretty much an entire second immediately, but they all have full start penalties basically. Oh, that Ferrari is a little bit skittlish off turn 3. We've got battles galore going on in the back here, and that's Jedler having a bit of a problem. Yellow flag in sector 1 as well. I think that's harder. We see Captain Badass going around the long way on Martin, and Ryan, Dylan, and everyone fighting everyone basically. And Dylan's going to have a shot pretty much straight back here at Ryan and almost goes into the wall. Everyone's just sliding from side to side at this point, and I'm pretty surprised no one has actually died yet. It looked like down in the battle for the lead, or in the battle for second place more likely, that these two going at it. Jack gets the better of IV there in the beginning of the second sector. Dylan and Rayan going to fight their way through the chicane. I'm not exactly sure why you would attempt to go too wide through that chicane. And just asking for somebody to get hit. Don't really have a time there for Jedler or for Martin, as I can only assume, be right on the top of their people they are trying to overtake. And Jedler gets the inside, onto the outside, sorry, there of Clueless, but he'd send it way too deep. Way too deep, and even with the next corner on the exit, he's just not got anywhere near enough. And well, Jackson IV go into the pits to serve their drive-thrus early enough to get it out of the way. His stop strategy says wets the entire way, so I don't think this rain's going to stop anytime soon. This game's timing sheets have just, died miserably by the looks of it. Somehow don't think that Martin is a minute and 45 ahead of Captain Badass, but you know, each to their own. Also don't think Ryan's quicker than Dylan, but... So, your actual lead of the race so far is Reed, who currently, net P1, after the 3 in front of him got a jump start for something I'm not entirely sure how. There's a couple of battles going on here. Oh my god, it's like a 6-way. Clueless is going to go around the long way here, and he does get the move done on Jedler, and here comes the Aston Martin as well. Martin trying to go down the inside of Badass. Doesn't get it done, and now he's opened the door for Pole here and for Arda, who are going to go side by side into the corner before the long straight. It looks like... Oh, no! A huge incident. Looks like one of the cars got hooked on the other and dragged them both into a wall, and neither of them now have front wings. And everyone had the Delta glitch, because you can tell, because everyone has stopped dead on the track. Volcano can't serve his drive-through at this point. Arda cuts the pit lane. Everyone decides that they don't like what the pit lane is in Miami. As it looks like the virtual safety car has been cleaned back up, so we go again. Now that the actual grid looks like a grid that makes sense timing-wise on the left-hand side of the screen, we get to see who is actually close and who isn't close to the person in front of them. And right now, no one's particularly close at all, apart from Joshy, who's going to try and set it down the inside here, I think, of Martin, who's very respectful and gives him a lot of room, so I doubt these two crash anytime soon. These two seem to know what they're doing, being respectful, fighting each other. Jedler and Clueless as well, as we head into the middle of the second sector now. And some people are getting within range, and it looked like Jedler just got within a lot, like decent range of Clueless here, considering Clueless made a massive mistake out of the chicane, and maybe now Jedler has a real shot at this. Volcano Master going to have to go in and serve his penalty on the lap. So we'll actually get the proper standings at this point. Here comes Jedler and Clueless. We saw this battle earlier where Jedler just broke way too late. Clueless still on the inside, still fighting for that position. Dylan's out! Dylan's out! Oh, Dylan's had a nightmare, and well, thank God we don't have actual damage on. Well, not actual damage, sorry, but simulation damage, because that would have been game over for Clueless right there. But yeah, that's got... well, one of the Ferraris are gone. Jedler couldn't get the overtake completed there at all, so people just left, right and centre having problems. Same with Martin there, who goes extremely wide on the exit of turn 3. And we have started to enter a little bit of chaos now, as Martin and Volcano are going to go side by side. I think Volcano is going to take that one. Yep, Volcano is going to get that one with the exit. He's got a far better exit there, and seems to have more control of the car as well. Jedler, well, Jack's got Joshy, and Jedler, we're actually going to see Jedler and Clueless battle it out again into the hairpin, and Clueless might have gone a little too deep this time. He has gone too deep, but he's able to hold off Jedler for a little while longer. He stayed in front going into the chicane as well, and Jedler sliced the car. So that's going to give Clueless a little bit of breathing room, unless Clueless ends up making a mistake of his own. It doesn't look like he has, so he's definitely got some breathing room there on Jedler, and, well, Martin's sliding that car in the background. He lost all semblance of what the car was there, and him and his teammate are going to go fighting here. It looks like Jack doesn't have the position on Martin, who's managed to get his car sorted out there. The two Aston Martins still fighting it, but Martin hasn't got his car sorted out this time. He slides it again. The traction just not there for him whatsoever. We've only had the one DNF so far. Dylan ploughing into the wall on the main straight. Few people going to have a fight here. Martin with Jack, well, Martin and Joshy with Jack. IV not really able to make the same moves that the guy that he was beside when he took the false start penalty did as well. So yellow flag in sector 2, and that's, I think it's Polly. Is that Polly? I think that's an eye at the end of that. Has been a little bit of a meltdown again at the end of the second sector. We've got fights up and down the grid, but not anywhere near the front. Dylan's left the session, as you would expect for someone who DNF'd relatively early into the race. And, well, we are heading into the final sector again here, and, well, all 4 of these guys are really close. And the 3 guys further back aren't exactly separated by an awful lot either. There goes Volcano on the inside of Badass. So the yellow flag in sector 1. It's Paulie again, and here comes Clueless on the return from Jedler. Jedler got past him into the hairpin, but Clueless has by far the better traction. I don't even think it's close at this point. And Paulie's gone again, and that might be a virtual safety car. It is, so that neutralizes the race once more. Yeah, Jedler's getting every single opportunity physically possible to throw everything he had at Clueless, but Clueless, well, clearly wasn't clueless when it came to his setup. The amount of traction he seems to get out of these corners is enough to hold his position over Jedler, and right now that'd be enough for a podium position. But Volcano Master holding himself. Well, there's a drive-through for Ryan, so that's number 4 for the race. And I think Clueless had to completely brake to make sure he didn't suffer one as well. Yellow flag in sector 2, and Polly's out. What's happened to his car here, we'll be able to see as we come down the straight. Oh, he's actually just gone straight into the wall. That's a broken suspension, that. Here comes Volcano Master on Jedler. Down the inside comes the Mercedes. No switchback opportunity available. And the Mercedes has spun round Clueless. And everyone is, well, held up quite badly here. And Clueless is able to get back in front of Jedler again through all of this. And Volcano Master comes off far worse as he clips the back end of Clueless. And, well, when you clip the back end of someone in that corner, you're not really going to be able to go anywhere. So Rayan also ahead of these lot, but with a drive-through, so he's going to be brought back into this pack as well, if not a little bit further back. Here comes Clueless on Captain Badass on the inside into the hairpin here as we get them going side by side, and Clueless with a little bit of a laggy car, I think. And Captain Badass has gone into the pits. I'm not entirely sure why. We're actually going to come back to that in a minute. As Volcano Master going to go down the inside of Jedler. And he gets that move to stick as well. So Captain Badass, I think, might have had a wing change. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, no. That intermediate tyres he's got on. It is. That's the green wall tyre, that. So then, some people think it's about time we, well, they take a gamble. Some people, oh, Ivy's out. No, he's in the pits though. So we're not going to get anything from it, but that's free. I said we would do well to get 10 finishes, and one more we don't. Still got a few battles going on though. This one between Jedler and Jack going in the favour of the Ferrari in the moment. But he's definitely holding on by the skin of his teeth at this point, Jedler, who also didn't come out very well off the incident between Clueless and Volcano, as he catches right up to the back of Volcano again. And here comes Volcano on Clueless. These two are going to continuously go back and forth, and I think it's not going to be Clueless this time. He doesn't have the traction advantage that he did against Jedler, and Volcano Master should be able to just clean house here, as he saw he was quick in the rain in qualifying, and well, clearly still quick in the rain now. And Rian's gone in to serve his drive-through penalty, as Ryan's going to drop quite the distance back. maybe all the way back to behind Joshua. Wait and see. You know, he's actually going to get out in front of Martin, so he's out in 6th. Brings another one into the battle between, well, everyone from 2nd all the way down to Joshi in 8th. The other two not quite anywhere yet, and well, Captain Badass has decided that he needed to take a gamble early, so whether or not that's paying off for him, we'll wait and see. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he just lost a couple of attempts going through. As Reed currently has a 12-second gap because of everyone jumping the start or jumping the virtual safety car. So it is well and truly Reed's race to lose. And, well, 12.5 seconds. That is a huge gap. It looked like Clueless had a little bit of a slide behind Volcano Master, who already cleared 2 and a bit seconds, or 2 and a quarter seconds. As Jax is going to go steaming down the outside here on Clueless. Those two are going to be, what, side by side into the corner? It looks like they're going to go side by side. Clueless actually going to back in behind. But he's going to have the inside line and still somehow manages to hold on to that position, even though Jax looked like he was having a far better time with the car down the straight at the very least. So Clueless very clearly got a good setup for the wet in particular, where his car seemingly looks to be a bit more stable. It seemingly looks to give him a lot more traction out of these corners as well. So now we're realistically down to a three-way fight for things on the actual track. I think the puddles are starting to disappear. Yep, the puddles are in fact starting to disappear, so I think it might be starting to head towards the intermediate weather. Here comes Jax. He's flying down the straight. He's got so much pace on the straight compared to Clueless, but Clueless has it in the corners, so it's a case of which one's better here, though. Can he get him on a straight in a quick enough fashion that Clueless can't fight back, as he's going to continue to fight back, and he's going to get himself alongside that Aston Martin. Down the inside, he's going to hold himself alongside until Jax eventually gets past, and there's no way you're getting anything through that chicane. Clueless, oh, and I think Clueless might have just tapped Jack, and ghosting might have just helped Jack, well, the lack of ghosting might have just helped Jack back straight again. I think that might have been, that might incur a little bit of damage. Here comes Jedler now on the 2. And, yeah, well, Jedler's going to get them both. Jedler gets a little bit skittish on the corner exit, though, and Jack, again, not having a great time on the exit of corners. Jedler and Jack clearly had the dry setup on the wet car, so he's got to get a lot going here, and Jack down the inside, and I think he might have spun a little bit there. A little bit lack on the traction again. As it avoided, well, he manages to hold on to the position because Clueless was just not the right place, right time to hold into an overtake. So Jedler currently 7 seconds behind Volcano. You can tell who did and didn't put on a rain setup before this. And it looks like Martin's going to join the club here as well. Martin versus Clueless. As Martin might be a little bit too far back to make anything happen with Clueless here. He's about half a second, and Clueless just dropping well off the back of his Aston Martin teammate now. And it looks like we're going to have another Williams Aston Martin fight in the middle of the pack here at Miami, as we're on lap 10 of 29. We still only have 10 people left. Jackson Jedler going at it in front as well, but I think that's going to be Jack's position. Jedler doesn't really have much of a fight back whenever you can get him on the straight. But both of which have awful traction in the corners. not really evident there. We go behind. Clueless is not going to adhere to the line. Martin's going to stay out. So Clueless looking possibly for intermediate tyres. Or another set of wets, whichever one they decide. It looked like another set of wets. Captain Badass had to go back onto the wets. Clearly wasn't intermediate time just yet then. As we still got a battle going on here between Jack and Jedler, which honestly might not be for much longer. As Jedler just seems to be losing time rather than gaining time. Until he hit the straight though, he is gaining at this point. Maybe some slipstream, maybe something helping Jedler out, but whatever it is, it's not helping him out enough. Maybe it's just Jack's having a little bit of poor cornering as he allows for Jedler to get really close now after that corner. It's not great if you're Jack. So here comes Jedler with a real shot of overtaking the Aston Martin here. Is he going to get the slipstream? And he's not going to be able to make a move. He's actually too far back, and I'm rather surprised at that one. Rian got Joshi. It's a really just quick one. It's 10 seconds, the gap between Jack and Volcano, and Jack's going to pit. Looks like we're going to have a really wet way to race the entire way to the end. But yeah, oh, Jack's going to go on intermediates. It didn't work earlier on for Badass, so maybe it works now? I doubt it. The rain's still pouring quite heavily. But that means we are... Oh, what's happened here? Someone lost their front wing. Someone lost their front wing, and we've got a virtual... No, it's a full-blown safety car. Jedler's lost his front wing. And it's a full-blown safety car. And Reed is going to be screwing, and I think Jedler might be... Well, Volcano might be too. Volcano might be slightly happier, though, considering he gets to go right back at Reed. As earlier on, he was definitely the quicker one of the two. Jack's went on to intermediate tyres, so Jack has decided to take a gamble. He's now got a safety car as well, so it might pay off. Let's see if anyone else decides that a gamble might be worth taking. Well, Reed does, but he cuts the pit lane in the process. So Reed comes in. Is Volcano following him? He is. What about Jedler? Well, Jedler obviously is. Reed's left the session? Why? Not entirely sure why he would do that. Martin gonna follow him in. Jedler followed the actual pit lane line. It looks like Martin did as well. Volcano's out. What the hell is happening? What the hell have I just seen? What on earth has just happened? Why is Volcano Master DNF'd? Why is Reed left? What the hell has just happened? I'm not entirely sure what... came into the pits and immediately DNF. I'm really confused. It's really, really confusing. I mean, people aren't going to complain. Reed in particular, it makes his life a hell of a lot easier. I'm not entirely sure why... Volcanoes... trying to see if I can find out why he just did. But oh my god, what the hell? Martin went on to a new set of intermediates, which onto a new set of wets, sorry, which was immediately the wrong decision. I'm very surprised he chose to do that one. Didn't have a drive for anything, so he might have just thrown himself under the bus here, Martin. Top 9's gonna get points regardless. I am so confused. Oh, someone's in has already had 60% wear. Ouch. I assume that's the quality he put on then. I had a big, big ouch. Nice pace under. Reed left the session again. What is going on? I have no clue what is going on at this point. Lost all semblance of what is actually going on, and Reed joined back, so I can only assume that is a game problem? Or a sound problem, maybe? Arda's lost. You see, I was not wrong. You had the pace. I mean, you are still fifth. It's not game over. But I'm not entirely sure why Volcano decided to DNF. Probably would have won that race. Reed is back in his car. It's apparently got 60% tires. Started last with one extra pit. Ouch. Ouch indeed. There goes Reed. Yep. Nobody adhering to the lines that you're actually meant to adhere for Miami pit lane, by the way. Wish I could just get everyone a penalty for that point. But yeah, Reed's going to come out second last. And that's a lot of work to do. So, as Jack's in the lead then, Jedler second, Clueless third, and that battle's going to resume where it was. Arda in fourth, down to 9 people. Oh, wait. I think the safety car comes in this lap. We should be going race again on lap 16 of 29. We are heading through the second sector now, and the safety car, there's always not a lot to talk about though, is there? There's even less when you get stunned about what happens at the beginning of the safety car. But yeah, we're going to be able to... We should be able to go now. Yep, safety car in this lap. That is unsurprising. We should see Jack start to back everybody up. Slow it down and back everyone up. That way you get to choose when you're going to start going in. When are you going to go to see if you can get a jump on your adversaries? I'm not sure why there's an Australian flag in the middle of Miami, but each to their own. And here we go. He got us jump. He's got a small head start, but it's not a great one. Arda trying to go down the inside of Clueless there, who's almost gone after Jedler in turn 1, but decides to, well, pretty much really late to back off. And Joshy's hit the back now. Badass and Reed got past him immediately. Those two are going to go back at it. Badass not really doing that well under the intermediate tyre. Got battles going on up and down the grid again now, which is good news for me, considering it gives me something to talk about. And we'll see if people can get this done. Ryan's got to defend from Reed. We saw this rather plentiful amount of time done the last season. Reed to Ryan, and these two were quite high up. Oh, and down the inside goes Ryan on Martin, and he's made it stick, but is he going to hold it? Well, on the long way, he does hold it, and that's a good move. That is an audacious move, but it's a good move nonetheless. Ryan up to 5th. Reed got to get a move on now. You see Jedler and Jack off in the distance. Already cleared Clueless by a second and a half. Oh, Clueless has been hit. Oh, he span it, one of the two. And that's caused a bunch of problems back there. Arda's going to get on through, though. Nonetheless, Arda's going to take that position off Clueless, who's going to go for it again immediately. But what a switchback. If he can hold this off, that would be an incredible switchback. It doesn't look like he can hold it, though. Which means it's just an attempt, but it looked pretty in the meantime. Clueless was able to hold on to that 3rd position after making the dive in turn 1. Someone else has lost their wing. I think Ryan's just had a little bit of a problem there. He dropped to 7th. Reed gonna have a go at Martin here, who's all over the place again. Should allow for Reed to have a really good shot at him now. He's gonna burn some of this ERS to see if he can have a really good shot at him. He almost pull alongside. He's gonna go the long way around, which is the interesting choice, but he's going to get it nonetheless. Martin's going to have to suffer being overtaken in that corner again for the 2nd lap running. But Reed done that. Oh, Martin span! Martin span too close to the inside of that chicane. And you're never going to get away with that. As soon as you go too far to the inside there, that's always going to spin you around. Here comes Badass on Joshy again. These two seemingly going back and forth repeatedly. Down the inside, Badass decides not to go for it. I'm pretty sure he could have made the case for going for that and making that stick, but decides against it nonetheless. Reed is trying. Oh, Arda and Clueless, I think, have just gone together again. Those two not having the cleanest of time, that's for sure. Arda's not going to be particularly happy being spun to the back. Or spinning to the back, more or less. But he's got to get his head down and get it moving again. Ryan's going to have a go at Clueless immediately here, and this should be easy going here for Ryan, I think. Well, Clueless is going to shove it off, but he's going to go down the inside now, Ryan. He should have a decent move to the inside lined up here. He's gonna try and hold. He's gotta hold off the switchback attempt from Clueless now, and he does do that pretty nicely. And that was a move that Rayan should have made, and definitely a lot easier than the last time he had to make a move down that corner. Joshi trying to close in the gap to these two, and Badass just slightly on the back of him as well. And Arda looking to try and catch Clueless back up, trying to catch all the way back up to third, possibly, considering he had a. Trying to get himself back into this one. He's Clueless is losing a little bit of a gap here. Arda's got a pit, so I assume that's his wing damage. Can only assume that's wing damage. Yep, it is wing damage, and well, that might be the end of Arda's race. Still got battles going up in a couple of places on the field. And, well, Badass is closing in on Joshi. Clueless has dropped off the back of Rayan, and everyone else seems to be a steady gap away from each other. Jack is just flying out in front. Hasn't been dominating, but he has been dominating since the safety car. Volcano DNF for some particular reason, I'm not entirely sure. And, and then Reed getting, well, apparently getting screwed by the game, putting him on 60% intermediates on the pit stop for some reason. I'm not sure I've seen that one before. Badass here is going after Joshi with some real intent. Joshi just not able to get close enough to Clueless. You see Martin's gliding in the background. Martin could have done with a slightly better setup, I think. As, well, still going on for the battle here, and Clueless is too far off Rayan to make anything happen there. I've just injured my elbow. That hurt. And, there's still a few decisions to be made here. Reed's up into third again after everything that happened in the safety car. Jedler 3.3 seconds behind Jack, and the Aston Martin shouldn't have any problems for the rest of the race. With 9 laps to go, these two still have a fight that's unresolved. There's still a possibility of bringing Clueless into this fight as well. Yellow flag in sector 1, Aston Martin spat out. That was a weird sentence to say. And, well, here comes the inside for Badass. Badass is just being too kind. Badass is just being too kind at this point. He really needs to take what he's been given. Because there's multiple times where he could go down the inside there and, well, have that position quite nicely, but almost went into anti-stall there, and, he's gonna have a go at him again here, but Badass needs to learn that he doesn't have to let up. He can, if he's going for the dive bomb, he's got to commit to it. If he sees the opening, you've got to go for that, because those are particular moves that you are not going to get very often. Same here, down the inside. If you can get it here, down the inside, he pulled off again. Oh, that's a little bit of a collision, a little bit of a tap between the two. I think it's a confidence thing between these two at this point. Not entirely sure they are doing the utmost they can. And that's a bit deep there from Badass, who is going to have to build up an entire new move now. Not entirely sure he's going to have the pace to get him down the straight here, and if he does, he might only be alongside, which means he probably backs out of it again. Coming down here, he's going to pull himself alongside, I think. Decided that there's no move actually on there, which is fair enough. He might have been a little bit too far back to make a move, and he had made a move. It would have been a bit audacious, a little bit of a dive bomb probably, but sometimes you've got to make your race work with those kind of moves. Reed's catching up to Jedler quite rapidly. We headed to lap 22. On lap 22 now, is Jedler now 5 seconds back, and Reed definitely having a better setup than Jedler does. Jedler and his lack of traction at the moment, seemingly possible that he's going to come back to bite him. And here comes Badass again, as he's going to break. He's going to go down the inside this time. He's actually going to try and hold the move, but again, a little bit of a tap forces him out of it again. So Badass is looking for him now. He's definitely seeing that he's got Joshy dead to rights by the looks of things. Joshy also bringing Clueless into this. And these three look to looking to make it, if there's a three-way fight here, maybe a collision or two might be on the horizon. Jedler has increased his gap to Reed by about 0.3 of a second since the last time we went to that fight. But the actual fight we're gonna keep watching here is this between these These three are relatively holding their own at the moment. They're also the closest three on track, and realistically our only source of entertainment in this race at this point of time. So we're going to see if Badass is finally going to go for something. 9% to 7%. They basically got the same amount of ERS, and I think Badass might be a little bit too far back. And yeah, Josh is way behind on Clueless. Hopefully that timing sheet fixed itself again, because it stopped. I'll tell you that, because there's no... Oh, Badass loses the car behind him. Badass lost the car, and, well, they lost the chance as well. It's 3.1 seconds now between Clueless and Joshy, and that one seemingly falls apart as well. Badass is definitely quicker than Joshy, though, at the moment. So I think that gap might come down relatively quick, and they're already starting to head toward the 1 second mark. It was, now it's going back in the favour of Joshy. And as soon as I say something, the exact opposite happens. So apparently I'm going to stop cursing these two now. Jedler and Reed down about 0.5 of a second, that gap. So it's about 1.7 between the two of them. And it looked like Joshy had a little bit of a slide with his car there. And Badass is back within a second. And so they're a little bit closer than they were on the last lap, that's for sure. And they're back to where they were a few laps ago, fighting it out in every corner. And seemingly the only battle we've got left on track until Reed picks up the pace a little bit to try and challenge Jedler for second. I think Jack, without a mistake, is going to take this one home quite easily. Oh, Clueless has spun it. Clueless has spun it. Almost left the session. But yeah, Clueless spun that one, and has also left the session as well. So, oh god, that's another one that's not enjoyed his time. Jedler also, by the looks of it, had a moment, because there's no way he was that much slower than Reed. So Reed gets up into second, and Jedler's like 3 seconds further back now. Yeah, it's very, very clear that Jedler had a moment. Can Reed hunt down Jack quick enough? That's dropped about 1.5 seconds between those two people in the last lap or so. There's still 5 laps left of this. And still plenty of chance that Reed can win this race. as he is going to, he definitely, wow, he has that Aston Martin vehemently in his sights now. What on earth is going on here? Everyone else seems so much slower compared to Reed. Doesn't have enough to go at Jack yet, though. Everyone's AI. Everyone's slowing down. Oh, I remember what this is. Yeah, no. On my screen and what is actually happening in the race are two very different things, because this game is bugged to all hell. So, there's no point me even seeing who's where, because there's no actual telling who's where. We'll say that it would, yeah, it does make sense, but I'm not entirely sure what I can and can't commentate on for the rest of the race at this point. Because until the end of the race, where the order comes back together as it was beforehand, there's no way Jedler's this slow. This game's just telling me that he is for some particular reason. But, well, I don't actually know what I can and can't commentate on. I don't know what is and isn't part of the race anymore. Because Ryan's not that slow either. I can tell Joshi is going at a pace that's normal. I can tell Reed's going at a pace that's normal. Don't think anyone else is. I have no clue. We're on lap 26, but this is really, really awkward, because if you can't see, then there's certainly a problem with that. Because Reed is not 9 seconds quicker than Jack after what is essentially, 2 laps when he was 6 seconds plus the deficit to Jedler in front. I'm not entirely sure why this only does it with this particular league as well. But none of this makes sense. I'm not entirely... I don't know what I'm meant to be saying at this point. Because these are very, very evidently, like, Joshi is not the same pace as Jedler. Hasn't been the entire race, so... It's very, very, very... likely that this lobby is glitched until the end of the race, which is a long, long way away in the rain. Yeah, the only two that I know are actually still driving properly in the lobby are Reed and Joshi, because everyone else you can tell aren't driving properly because it's roughly the same gaps. They're driving as if there was an AI driving the car. Whereas people like Clueless, the AI is genuinely driving the car. Wouldn't be at all surprised if Clueless is currently last. This is annoying because I wanted to see the end of this. I wanted to see what is going to happen. But then you get this, and there's nothing I can say. Josh, on my screen, Joshi will end up beating Jack, which I know for a fact isn't going to happen when one was, 7th and the other one was 1st. But yeah, we're on lap 27 now, and soon to be lap 28 with Reed and 22 seconds up on Jack. On the reality that I have, on the reality that everyone else has got in the actual race, that is not entirely going to happen. Oh, we might be back. What the hell is going on my screen? Ah, I don't think so. Unless something has happened in the last so long that has put Reed behind Ryan. Apparently Arda pinned to fourth now. The fuck is going on? My timesheet is so fucking broken. I don't know what's going on. We're on lap 29 to 29, so we're literally half a lap away from me actually understanding what is the actual ending order, but this game is bugged, man. Apparently Jedler's now winning and Jax is in 7th. Yeah, I believe that one. Apparently Arda's winning and Martin's... What on earth is going on? Here comes to the line now. I think Jack has just finished the race, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what the hell's going on. Are we on lap 29? Are we done? I don't know what the I don't know what to say, because there is nothing to say. How glitched is this goddamn game? Yellow flag in sector 3. Somebody's crashed. Not entirely sure who. Jack just dropped a place. Apparently Jedler's winning. I would like to understand why he keeps doing this. I know Reed's in the top 3 without a mistake. We can't be far from the actual end of the race. But we had a 3 second for Josh there in the Haas right at the end, corner cutting as well. So Jack's actually won the race. Reed's got 2nd, Jedler's got 3rd. My timesheet is starting to make a little bit more sense. So Ryan's come 4th. So Jack's gonna take it home in Miami, which is... Wow, he did it by 7 seconds. Reed got 2nd, Jedler got 3rd. That was pretty good. Jack did pretty well after Volcano decided to DNF. Josh is out. Josh is out with like literally 3 corners left of the Grand Prix. I'd have come 5th out of all of this somehow. Badass has come 6th. Someone's doing something somewhere. We'll wait and see when they go over the line. There you go, we're done. We're done. I don't know what the hell's happened here. Apparently Clueless hasn't crossed the line? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I have no clue. But well done to Jack for winning that race. He'd done pretty well there after everything that happened. And then you've got Reed in second, Jedler in third. The Minions are back on the podium once again. It's Aston Martin's day. That was pretty well done by Jack in the end after that safety car. Done it pretty well. Reed got a little bit screwed over. Probably would have won if that hadn't happened. But you have to be there to take your chances, and that's what Jack was today. That is the end of the race. Clueless and Joshy locked down, and then Joshy DNF'd. And that was all British top three. Rain 4th out of 5th. Badass 6th. Martin 7th for the last of the finishers. I think Clueless might have finished as well, I'm not entirely sure. But with that, I'm going to end with that confusion. I'm going to end it there in a bit.